My father said, "You're a disappointment. I'm cutting you off completely." I accepted it. That evening, I activated a trust fund he didn't know existed. A month later, he called me and his voice was shaking. My father said those words at the Oak Room, the Plaza Hotel, a dinner celebrating his 60th birthday. 73 people were there. 3 senators, 2 judges, the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, most of my extended family. He stood at the head of the table, scotch in hand, announced to everyone present that I was a disappointment to the family name, that he was cutting me off completely. No more allowance, no more trust fund access, no more family connections, no more using the family name to open doors. Effective immediately, I was financially on my own. Then he sat down, returned to his filet mignon, like he'd just commented on the weather. I was 29 years old, sitting 3 seats down from him, wearing a suit I'd bought with my own money, from teaching, not from his accounts. My hands were steady as I set down my wine glass. Everyone was staring at me, waiting for me to react, to beg, to defend myself, to make a scene. Instead, I looked at my father, nodded once, understood. Then I stood up, walked out of the Oak Room, took a cab back to my apartment in Brooklyn, and made a phone call that would change everything. I'd been teaching high school English literature for 4 years. Before that, 2 years getting my master's in education at Columbia. Before that, 4 years at Yale studying comparative literature. My father, William Harrington, had tolerated Yale. At least it was Ivy League. Right connections. He'd been less pleased about the master's degree. Education? What are you going to do with that, teach? When I said yes, his face had gone cold. You're a Harrington. We don't teach. We build. We lead. We create empires. William Harrington had built his empire in commercial real estate development. Harrington Properties owned 43 buildings in Manhattan, 12 in Brooklyn, investment properties in 6 other states, worth approximately $460 million. He'd expected me to join that empire, learn the business, eventually take over as CEO. Instead, I'd become a high school English teacher, making $58,000 a year. The breaking point had come 3 months before the birthday dinner. My father called me to his office. Corner suite, 43rd floor of the Harrington building, floor-to-ceiling windows, mahogany desk, photographs of him with presidents and governors. He'd been sitting behind that desk when I arrived, reading something on his computer. Hadn't looked up when I sat down. "I'm giving you one more chance. I've arranged an interview for you with our acquisitions team. Entry-level position. You start in 2 weeks." I'd said no. That's when he'd looked up. No, I'd confirmed. "I'm happy teaching. I'm good at it. I'm making a difference in these kids' lives." My father had leaned back in his chair, studying me like I was a disappointing investment. "You're wasting your potential. You're wasting my legacy." I'd stood up to leave. "It's my life, Dad, not your legacy." My mother had died when I was 19. Ovarian cancer, stage 4, gone in 8 months. Her name had been Eleanor Harrington, born Eleanor Whitmore, daughter of Judge Edward Whitmore. Old money, the kind that didn't need to prove itself. Before she died, my mother had pulled me aside. Hospital room. She'd been thin, fragile, hair gone from chemotherapy. "Alex," she'd said, holding my hand, "I need to tell you something important. Your grandmother Catherine left you a trust fund. It's substantial. Your father doesn't know about it." I'd been confused. "Why doesn't Dad know?" She'd smiled weakly. "Because my mother didn't trust him. She wanted to make sure you'd be taken care of. She knew if your father found out, he'd find a way to control it." She'd squeezed my hand. "The trust is set up through her estate attorney. You can't access it until you're 30, but when you do, you'll have complete control. No one can take it from you, not even your father." She'd given me a business card. "This is Jeffrey Blackwood. He was my mother's attorney. Now he manages the trust. When you turn 30, call him. He'll explain everything." I'd put the card in my wallet, forgot about it in the grief and chaos. 10 years had passed. The business card had stayed in my wallet, moving from one wallet to the next. My 30th birthday was in 6 weeks. I hadn't called Jeffrey Blackwood yet. Probably enough for a down payment on a condo, I'd thought. Maybe $100,000. The night of my father's birthday dinner, after I'd walked out of the plaza, I'd sat on my couch, pulled out my wallet. The business card was there, slightly worn, corners bent. Jeffrey Blackwood, attorney at law. I'd looked at my phone. 9:37 on a Saturday night. Too late to call, but I'd been angry, hurt, humiliated by my father's public disavowal. I'd needed to do something, anything. I opened my laptop, and that's when I sent the email that changed everything. Full story is linked below or on my channel.